Using the editor lets us set up the initial configuration of our scene, but often we need to add entities at runtime. If we want to manually configure an entity and add it to the scene, we use the addEntity method in the scene manager. This will place the passed-in entity in the scene, as well as subscribing it to all relevant systems. In most cases, however, we will be instantiating prototypes. To demonstrate how this works, I've created a simple bullet prototype. In the playerUpdate method, we're going to instantiate a bullet and have it move towards the mouse position when the spacebar is pressed. To instantiate a prototype, we use the prototypes static class. To add an entity to the scene and subscribe it to systems, use the create method, passing in the name of the prototype. It's important to note that the entity returned from the create method is just a reference. The actual object is owned by the engine, so deleting the reference won't delete the object. If you want to create an entity independently of the scene, use the get method. You can then add it to the scene and systems on your own terms using the addEntity method. However, once you do add an entity this way, the engine takes ownership of it, as it does if you had originally used the create method. Let's run the scene, and we should be able to see that when we press space, a bullet is spawned. Next, let's look at how to remove entities from the scene at runtime. We're going to reuse our wall prototype and modify the bullet onCollision method. If the bullet collides with a wall, we'll destroy the bullet using the scene manager removeEntity method. This will take the entity out of the scene and unsubscribe it from systems. However, any dangling object references will still be valid, and they can be used to re-add the entity into the scene if we choose. If we play the scene and shoot a bullet towards a wall, we can see the bullet is destroyed when it collides. Sometimes it can be useful to choose when an entity is destroyed. We can specify an optional delay parameter when we ask an entity to be removed. To demonstrate, we're going to give a bullet a limited lifetime. In the bullet's onCreate method, we're going to remove the bullet itself after 2 seconds. Let's play the scene again, and we can see that when we shoot a bullet, if it doesn't collide after 2 seconds, it destroys itself.